Honorable Irene Joki, MP Bahati, member of this committee.
We have our clerks, the lead clerk, to introduce himself on behalf of the rest.
Under Joshua, committee clerk.
So Dr. Ouma, Julie, will first administer the oath. Then after that, we'll give you a chance to introduce yourself. So the legal counsel.
Just bless your hand. Bless your hand. Yeah. Okay. Lift your right hand. Then fill in your name.
I, Julie Ouma Oseko, do swear that the information I shall give before this committee on the matter under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So you may now sit down. Fill in there. Yes, full name. Yes. Signature and the date. 9. Thank you.
So you've signed that oath. I want to give you a chance so that you can introduce yourself to the members of the committee. You tell us who you are by name, where you come from, where you went to school, and where you have trained, your work experience, and any other information which you feel will add value in terms of making a decision for your consideration as a commissioner to the National Land Commission. So I'll give you 10 minutes to do that.
Chair,
So
sorry
you may
for
proceed.
interfering.
Okay, sorry.
We are checking at this, the same thing we had before, and it is not about the headline. They have confirmed to me we have the wrong, you know what I'm talking about. We have the wrong document. It's meant for someone else.
So I think it's being sorted, but she can be introducing herself as they correct the mess.
I just wanted to...
Yeah. Thank you so much, Honorable Gitari, for that. So you may proceed. We'll give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You tell us who you are, where you went to school, where you come from. At least you describe yourself in that aspect, in those aspects.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and thank you, honorable members, for giving me this opportunity to appear before you today for this exercise. I'll start by stating who I am. My name is Honorable Dr. Julie Ouma Oseko, CS. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. It means I'm a lawyer by profession. I am also a family member. I'm a mother of 4 daughters. I'm a widow, and I also have several grandchildren. I was born and grew up in Siaya County, in Game constituency. I went to school in Kisumu County. My father was employed by the Kenya Railways, so I grew up in Kisumu City. I did my primary school there. I did my secondary school there, Kisumu Girls. Then I went to Nia Girls High School. Then I went to Luak Girls High School. After that, I came to Nairobi, to the University of Nairobi, where I did my Bachelor's of Laws, which I passed with honors. And in my Bachelor's of Laws, in my second year of study, I studied land law and also the law of trusts. I also did my master's degree at the University of Nairobi, I specialized in the area of public international law from when I went to the UK, the United Kingdom, where I did my PhD in the University of Leicester. My PhD was in the area of constitutional law with specific reference to rule of law, separation of powers, and judicial independence. That is what I studied. I went to the Kenya School of Law, where I did my diploma in law, and that is the reason why I'm a practicing advocate. Apart from that, before I go to my work experience, I would like to share with you my professional affiliations. So I'm a member of the Law Society of Kenya. I'm also a certified secretary, and therefore that's why I have the name CS to it. So I'm a governance expert. I'm also a counsel listed in the International Criminal Court in The Hague. That means, honorable members, that I have the authority and capacity to practice law before that court, either representing victims or representing accused persons. I'll come to my work experience. My work experience, I have worked my entire life. I joined the judiciary in 1989. I have had my entire work, most of my work experience in the judiciary as a judicial officer. First, before I joined the judiciary, I worked briefly for 2 years at the Nairobi City Council. And when I was at the Nairobi City Council, then it was called the then Nairobi City Commission. I was attached to the litigation department, and there the first time officially I came to terms with land issues, because I was in the conveyance department and I was also in the litigation department, specifically the rates department. I worked there for 2 years, then I joined the judiciary, and I was taken to Kibera Law Courts. I started as a district magistrate 2 professional, and I have risen up the ranks until the year 2022, when I exited the Judicial Service Commission as a chief magistrate. So I have about over 30 years of experience as a judicial officer. So basically, Your Honors, I am a public servant. I've only worked in the public service. I haven't worked in the private sector. In the course of that work in the judiciary, I came to be able to align myself to land matters. As you may very well know, magistrates, judges, we hear a lot of land cases. So I interpreted, I applied, and I presided over very many land cases. Also, in terms of the criminal section of it, there are also several cases that touch land. I came a lot in contact with historical land injustices. My work took me to very many stations in the country. So I have worked in Nairobi, I worked in Machakos, I worked in Molo, and at that particular time, in 2007, I was the senior principal magistrate in charge of Molo Law Courts. And then I've also had 10 years experience in the coast. In Mombasa, I worked for 4 years, and the last 6 years I worked in Malindi. I've also worked in Kiambu. So I have a very good, rounded experience in land matters and matters touching to land, which I've accumulated in my work in the judiciary. In that work experience, honorable members, also I've not just worked in court, I've also worked outside the courtroom, but inside the judiciary. In the year 2012, when I came back from my PhD, I was seconded to the Judiciary Training Institute, where I was the deputy or the assistant to the director of JTI. There, in the Judiciary Training Institute, does training of judges and magistrates and non-judicial staff. And in that space, I got the opportunity to engage with certain policies. We were developing policies, we were training judges and magistrates, we were coming up with practical bench books for operation by the magistrates. And just to mention what will align to the mandate, if I am given this opportunity, I can say that I was one of those pioneers who brought ADR, alternative justice systems into the judiciary. We started it. I was chair of the task force that was mandated to come up with the pilot to try to see if the judiciary could engage with the traditional justice systems, which pilot we did in Isiolo, and it was very successful. And I must say that I am proud that that is one of the constitutional mandates that is being implemented today. I also took part in the mediation, which I did the pilot at JTI with the Strathmore School. We are the ones who started it. I launched it, and then I left it to go on. I also conceptualized and drafted the first, brought together the first mediation accreditation committee, because I was tasked with bringing life to that aspect of the Constitution. Apart from that, I also worked in the judiciary, JPIP, the Judiciary Performance Improvement Project, JPIP. This was a $150,000 loan by the government, World Bank, to the judiciary. And our work was to make sure that we utilize that fund to improve the performance of the judiciary. And in that role, I am the one who drafted the JTI component of the project appraisal document. Then I was taken to when the project was launched and it started, I was taken to the JPIP headquarters to be able to assist the implementing units to absorb those funds. So it's a lot, but I just want to go within my 10 minutes. So I also worked in the CRJ's office. There I supported policy documents and the work of the CRJ. I also am a mentor. In the course of my work, I have mentored young girls and lawyers and girls in general. I do quite some community work. I believe if you see my CV, they are all outlined there. I will not say all of them, but I'm very passionate about women. I'm very passionate about gender justice, and I'm also very innovative. I've also had some successes. I have received some accolades. The CB Madan Prize I've received when I was in Malindi. My court was one of those ones that were recognized for best performance in the country. I went there in 2019. In 2016, by 2019, 2 years, I had turned out that court. And I'm also very, very passionate about technology, because I was also in the Judiciary ICMS Committee, which was advising the judiciary on all those matters ICT. So I'm an innovator. I am an achiever. I work hard. I work hard for the public. I'm passionate about public service. And if these honorable members give me the opportunity to serve the Kenyans, I will continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that elaborate and eloquent presentation in form of an introduction. Honorable members, and I want to open the floor. I know from what she has presented and based on what we have done from the morning, we should be able to move so that we can then vet the gracious leadways before the committee. Honorable Joseph Gitari, I hope you have a pen. And if you don't have one, we can give you one and a pen, and a paper, so that you can take. We'll take a set of 3, then after that, we'll give another cohort. Bona Gitari.
Thank you, Chair. And I want to be on record that I'm a surveyor and a member of ISK.
Switch off your mic, Madam Julie. Switch off your mic.
I want to tell the nominee that the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya has publicly stated that you and other nominees lack core RAD sector qualifications such as RAD Law, Survey, Spatial Planning, and RAD Economics. They have questioned how a commissioner without a background can effectively contribute to NLC technical mandate. What I would like to know from you, Daktari, is how do you respond to ISK concern? What specific values do you bring as a governance and consumer protection expert? As a to a commission that make technically complex decisions. The other issue, Chair, NLC deals with matters requiring specialized knowledge, cadastral survey, land registration, valuation, methodologies, and environmental impact assessment. You will be required to vote on the same matter. I would like to know, how will you equip yourself to make informed decisions on technical issues? Will you rely entirely on the commission technical staff? And if so, how will you guard against simply rubber stamping their recommendation without independent understanding? I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Gitari. Honorable Paul Katana, then Decor.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Nominee, you've stated that you have some clue on land issues. You have been a magistrate, and I'm proud that you have served in Mombasa and Malindi. Coast Province has had a lot of land injustice since time immemorial. You being the Chief Magistrate of Malindi, you must have encountered a lot of land disputed issues that came through you. During your rulings or your judgment, were you at any given time influenced by political pressure or materialistic? Because a lot of the locals have lost their case against very, very influential people in Malindi, Mombasa, let's say in particular in Kilifi County and Mombasa County. And these are locals who have stayed in their ancestral land. If nominated, what will you do to make sure that these people get justice and get back their land? Thank you.
Major Deco.
Thank you, Chair. Julie, there's no doubt about the CV you have presented in terms of, it's very impressive. But from 1989 to 2022, you are still at that level of magistrate. With this impressive CV, I would have expected you to be at this stage, to have gone to the level of the Supreme Court. I do not understand. Maybe you can give some light on this. Secondly, in your income, you still earn some fees or legal fees from your law firm. I believe this is your partner in this law firm. So again, will you not be conflicted in the land commission, because the lawyers deal a lot with the land, issues related to land, and you still serving as a partner in a law firm which you are earning? Will it be conflicting in the new role you are going to undertake? Thank you.
Honorable Engineer Zambia. Switch off your mic, Madam Julie.
Thank you, Chair, and to Daktari with a very detailed CV. We have parliamentary reports and fact-finding services, visits, which have revealed that there is an increase in cases of illegal and irregular allocation of public land, including restricted areas. In your capacity, if appointed, what corrective measures will the Commission implement to curb and address this illegal and irregular allocation of public land?
You want to take those ones first, so that we don't lose it? Then we will go to the next set. Okay.
Thank you for those questions, honorable members. I will start with the last as I go to the first one. On questions of illegal and irregular allocation of land, it is true, and also from my experience as a judicial officer, it is true that that kind of vice is going on. And one of the mandates, and particularly with the newly enacted legislation of 2025, the Commission has been given a window to review those cases and also to consider cases of historical injustices. So definitely, if appointed, through your approval, those are some of the issues that we are going to deal with as a commission. I believe on a priority basis, but I believe we will have to do it and agree as a commission. But truly it is a priority which must be addressed. And the commission has the options of addressing them under the law. So if there is found to be any land which is illegally or irregularly allocated, as a commissioner, I will just follow the law and do according to the law like I have done all the years with the law. I go to the question of the legal firm, my relationship with the legal firm. I did retire in 2022 and I joined the legal firm, but I was not very active because I had worked for so many years. Honorable members, I just decided to take a 2-year break, at least to relax, because I'd started working when I was in the 20s. I reached 60, I was still working, so I took a break. So the truth is that it's just only last year that I've just decided I want to come out and serve again. And then came this advert, and then I decided, let me apply for this. Yeah, so that is how it is. So my practicing certificate, if you can see it, is for 2025. So before that, I was just doing, just go to the office just to do background things. The farm is run by my 2 daughters, and it is the farm that was left over by my late husband when he died, and my 2 daughters are lawyers, and so we agreed with them that they sit in the farm and they hold on to their father's legacy. So I'm really not inside. The girls are extremely competent. They are doing very well. They really don't need me. If I get into this job, I will definitely leave it. I'm not a partner, I'm just a consultant, which means I just do just easy work in there and supporting them also, because they are also still young. So for me, there will be no conflict of interest. And should there be any conflict of interest, should there be any, because it's a law firm, it does business, it may have business with the National Land Commission. I'm very much aware of the act that has replaced the Public Officers, the Conflict of Interests Act. I'm very much aware of it. I'm very much aware of the procedures, and should any time arise that any such conflict arises or not arises, I will make sure that it is properly noted there and the procedures there are followed. So that shouldn't be a problem. Then on the issue of why I have not been appointed as a judge of the High Court, when my husband died in 2015, I just decided to take what it takes. So I didn't make those applications. I was also still, I was a chief magistrate, but I did not make that application because I was still trying to stabilize my family. But personally, I have always been interested in land. So in 2019, when an opportunity arose for the ELC, I did apply, because that is really where my heart is. Because mostly as a magistrate, you will find that almost 50% of the cases are land. They are land. Either they are criminal, somebody has killed another person, but over land. When you look at the context, the basis, chanzo chake, ni shamba. So I've been very passionate about it, but then I was not, I did not get that opportunity. I believe maybe because, I really don't know, because I don't know if to say the right person to answer this question would be the Judicial Service Commission, because I put myself forward. I gave my qualifications, but I'm also very sure that the Judicial Service Commission, in its wisdom, did what is best for the country. And maybe that I don't want to call it failure, maybe that not being able to get into the Judicial Service Commission has brought this opportunity for me to be able, if allowed, to serve Kenyans for me, in a much better space where I have the passion for it. Yeah, maybe this is a blessing in disguise for me. I don't want to say it that way, but I don't know how to answer that, because we really don't get the reasons for the decisions that are made. So, but I believe the Judicial Service Commission did what it did in this utmost good faith. Yeah, and sometimes not all of us can be able to ascend to the High Court or to the Supreme Court. It's given me a good opportunity to serve Kenyans in a different capacity, and I am grateful for that. On the issue of Malindi and the land cases, it is true, Honorable Katana, that Malindi Law Courts is awash with cases of squatters. Mostly it's squatters cases. And we do those cases every day. We handle them in criminal cases, like a forcible detainer. Okay, you may also find a lot of murders being committed just because somebody between the communities, the ones who feel offended and the one who feel on the other side. And it's true that there is also some level of political undertones in those cases. So how did we deal with them? For us, we dealt with them because I established my CUC. It's called a Court Users Committee, which I believe if I go into the commission, we will have something where even the other outside stakeholders can plug into the system and support the system. We had CUCs. In these CUCs, we had the members of parliament. I think we had Honorable Kingi, Michael, and also the governor was Honorable Kingi, as our governor for Kilifi. So what we did was we just worked together. We just worked together. We created situations where we all went to the ground. The magistrate, the judge, the lawyers, everybody in the land system, we all went to the ground. With the help of the provincial administration, we were able to talk to the people. And we were able to speak in one voice, because when you don't speak in one voice, then you have a problem. So we were able to bring in the politicians into the work that we do as the court and be able to work with them so that we can reduce these instances of the squatter problem. So for me, it was not really a big legal issue, but just engaging with the public, because the public are ignorant of the law. And once you take away that ignorance and you empower them and they understand what the law is. Usually I got the feedback that they were actually not so bad, and to an extent that when the matters came to court, and we had gone out and done the civic education, and then the matters came back to court, they would tell me, Madam, ni kweli, shamba siye, yetu tupatie tu wakati tu tutoke. Okay, we also dealt with the landowners, and we talked to the landowners. Look at these people's situation. If you find it in your heart that you can also be able, much as they are squatters, you know them. If you find that they are genuine, even though they are illegally on your land, find a solution. So for me, it is a solution finding situation. And that is what I think is best to do. And I hope that if appointed, then I'll be able to continue with these initiatives and share them with the fellow commissioners so that we can solve these problems. With respect to the issue about rubber stamping the work of the technical persons who are surveyors, and being in the commission, I may not be a surveyor, I may not be a valuer, but I just need to state that as a lawyer, there's a reason why we are called learned people. So we go through, we learn, we get evidence from the surveyors, we get to understand exactly what the work of surveyors is, because that is the technical capacity that we have as lawyers. And in several instances also, you can have two surveyors with two different opinions. As a court, you cannot say you can make that determination. So I have that competence, that skill that I've acquired as a lawyer through my studies to be able to go through and not to be able to be fazed by the technical people on the ground. So for me, I think I have the competence and the skills to be able to navigate around other experts. That's what I would say. I've also, there's also the question of surveyor and the complaint by the ISK. The requirement for being a national land commission is properly outlined, and for me, I believe as a lawyer, as a magistrate, as a mother, as a woman, as somebody who has interacted with matters land, I have that political awareness and that emotional intelligence to be able to sit in this commission and be able to work with others. And also I bring in competence, integrity, accountability, and my law, my interpretation of the law. As you can see, the National Land Commission, there's a lot of law, there's a lot of constitutional provisions, there's a lot of statutes to be interpreted. And so for me, my contribution to the commission, to the other commissioners, is that I bring this skill. I have a PhD in constitutional law, and therefore I feel that I am competent. I suppose I've answered all the questions. Have I left?
It's okay. Then we have Dr. Rachel Nyamai, Mheshimiwa Omar Mwinyi, and then Joseph. We finish with Dr. Gideon Ochanda. In that order. Rachel.
Chair, thank you very much, and congratulations for making it to that seat, Daktari. Chair, I have very specific, small questions, 3 of them, but very brief. The first one concerns Aseko and Ouma. I know you have really tried as much as you can to distance yourself, but I would like to ask you whether you would like to talk about this matter of Aseko and Ouma and Wamenju, which concerns a decision concerning a certain amount of money that was paid to the farm, which was a bit controversial. Whether you are aware and whether you can say something about it too. It's alleged that you have a lot of land in Malindi. How much land do you have in Malindi? And lastly, do you have any dealings? Does this particular farm have dealings with NLC or Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning? Thank you.
Honorable Engineer Omar Mwinyi.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to state that we have a lot of things in common with Dr. Julie. I'm also a widower. I'm also interested in land. And I also have grandchildren. So I can see we have a lot of commonalities with, between us. The only thing that worries me is that I'm afraid of being jailed because, you know, she has been a judge. So maybe the only thing that is worrying me is if I cross her lines, could end up in jail. But anyway, beside that, I just want to point out to Dr. Julie, there's a case in Diani area where the government at one time wanted to take over a certain parcel of land for purposes of development of projects for the government. And one such land used to belong to a family known as the Bwikas. It's a big family. It surrendered the plot to the government because they were patriotic. But when the government decided that it was no longer taking up that project, they ordered that the land be given back to the owners. One prominent family, which of course was once in the presidency, took that land. This is the Moi family. And up to this day, they are holding on to that land, despite the fact that we have tried as a committee, but of course, up to this time, that land still is with the Gideon Moise. I want to get it from you, just in case we happen to give you this position. How can you be of assistance to make sure that this land gets back to the owners? Because up to this date, they still believe this land is theirs. It's only that they do not have political powers, but they have rights as Kenyans to own that land since it used to be their land. So we want an assurance from you, because once you get into the office, we'll get you to make sure this will begin this journey to retrieve that land from the grabbers and get it back to the owners. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Chandler.
Yes, Chair. In as much as I will not want to be hounded by the county, let me bring two short questions for purpose of public interest. What I'm seeing is not, but NLC has a backlog of very many disputes. Similarly, the judiciary has very many of those disputes that are the backlog. And here you are, and you've done a very exemplary service. And in your records, you cleared 95 cases in one day. 95 cases in one single day. What is it that's happening in judiciary that we still have backlog? If one magistrate can clear 95 cases in one single day. The other thing is in terms of being in the legal environment. What do you think could be ailing or be the challenges that NLC could be facing, that some of these things are not, most of the problems are not solved? What generally do you think are the issues behind NLC not doing to the expectation of Kenyans?
Honorable Joseph.
Thank you, Chair. Dr. Julie, you are actually the exact age with my mother. And thank you for highlighting your extensive and elaborate CV and the kind of service that you've done for this country. Now, NLC faces a lot of challenges, dozens of challenges. One of them includes pending bills that accrue from lost land cases, legal fees, and also penalties. All these payments are made using taxpayers' money. Now, I need an assurance from you that in case you get this opportunity, you are the right person for this job, and you will save this country and the taxpayers from paying these legal fees that accrue from failed cases that are lost by National Lands Commission. Thank you, Chair.
Daktari, you may respond to those.
Thank you, honorable members, for those very good questions. I will start from the back. Honorable Joseph. Yeah, like you said it, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and bring back the confidence of Kenyans in the National Land Commission. That one I will do. with respect to the challenges of pending bills, because of legal fees and also penalties. When we talk about legal fees, I've heard about huge legal bills. And these bills are given to the National Land Commission for the work done by the lawyers. And for me, one of the things I would do is that I make sure, as commissioner, of course we have a legal department, we be able to do a checklist on scrutinizing the contents of the bills, because sometimes the bills could be inflated. And having been a deputy registrar in the judiciary, and having been a taxing master, that is a person who taxes bills between the client and the client and the advocate, I think I'll have a very good bird's eye view of exactly how these bills come, so that even if they are heavy, we are able as an LLC to tell the public that yes, the bills are heavy, but they are correct, okay? Because then I will have, if we don't agree with the bill, we take it before the DR for taxing. Let the court make that decision. And then that will ease off also the burden of saying NLC this and NLC that. Again, another issue is that when bills spent and they are not paid for a long time, interest accrue. When we give judgments in court, we say pay so much plus cost plus interest from the day of filing suit until payment in full, which means from the date of that judgment, interest starts accruing at court rates. So if we don't look at these bills that we get from the advocates and we keep quiet, it's for their benefit, it's not for our benefit. So we need to start dealing with these bills to avoid payment of interest, because if an interest stays for 10 years, then it will, if you do the math, you will double the amount of money that you're supposed to pay. So that is one thing that we need to stop or to deal with immediately at the NLC. And for me, coming from the bench, I have that experience. I have that knowledge, I have that experience, and I'm able to guide the legal department and oversee that this does not happen. Also, I am aware that there's a pending bills committee which is looking into the genuineness of the government pending bills, and I believe that once this committee concludes its work, then I think some of these issues will have been solved, maybe even if not half, but at least to a certain extent. There are several others, but let me just leave it at that. In view of, trying to get the name, Dr. Ochanda, issues of backlog of cases, okay? Issues of backlog of cases and use, for me, I was in the judiciary for the longest time possible. But the day we started getting good results is when we applied IT, when we digitized. Because when you don't digitize, files get lost. And once a file gets lost, a case cannot be heard. And if that case has been pending, file gets lost for 10 years, that case becomes pending for 10 years. And I sat in the ICMS committee. We started it, and we worked on it for 2 years, and we gave the judiciary a blueprint and it is upon that blueprint that the current judiciary ICT policy is being used now. And if you can see, you can now log in. You don't need to wait for somebody to tell you, oh, what did the magistrate say, what did the judge say? You can just log in and see the proceedings. Proceedings of the NLC in matters of where we do matters on historical land injustices. I don't see why we should not. We can log in, and anybody from anywhere, even the whites in the British who are following their cases in Kenya, can be able to see what is going on. So for me, use of ICT, Honorable Ochanda, is big to me, and I've seen the effects, I have seen the results, and if you approve me for this appointment, trust me, that is one thing that I will share my knowledge, my experiences, and even be able to benchmark with the judiciary. I remember the first time I came to Parliament, this is the second time, we had come here to benchmark with you on your digitization of these proceedings. And that is what we actually used to transfer to go and do the audiovisual for the courts. And it worked. So it's basically working together to deal with that. It's true that I handled the 95 cases, and I thank you for the compliment, in one day. It is possible. And still on that, I used ICT. I simply went. The prison didn't have a laptop. I took my laptop, took it to prison, told them, use it. I'm on this side. And this was actually the 4th day after lockdown. That was the 4th day after lockdown. And I looked at it, and I looked at the situation, and I said, no, this cannot happen. We need to get some of these people out of prison. I was not afraid. We didn't have regulations for use of ICT, but I went ahead, and I gave them my laptop. We sat on one side, and they just came, and we talked, and I did my cases, and I did 95 cases, and I concluded them, and those people were released. And I was the first person in the judiciary, not just the magistrate, I was the first person to use ICT on the 4th day of lockdown. So for me, that is innovation, given a chance. If you approve that I get into this very good commission, I will be able to share my experiences with them and also make them move forward with it. Oh, then that's Commissioner Omar Mwini about Diani, about this case you're talking about. For now, I have heard you. I will not talk about the merits of it, but it is a good case for the aggrieved party to file before the National Land Commission. Then we will take it up, and then we will deal with it, and we will apply the law. And if it is true that the land was grabbed, we can assure you we will recommend for justice to be done. That's the much I can say, because then you've said about this, those other people also have their sides. But let the matter come to the commission, and we assure you that we are going to do it very, very expeditiously, because that is also another case for delay. We'll try and make sure that we do as fast as we can. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Chairman, I think I'm very satisfied, because we once did a case with the former deputy chair of NLC, chair to the first NLC chair. What was it? What was his name? Swazuri, the deputy to Swazuri. And we managed to revert a piece of land belonging to Kenya Port Authority back to them. So I believe it is possible. And I forgot to say I'm also a supporter of broad-based government. You know, we have a lot of things in common with you. That is what I was saying. Otherwise, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I rest my case.
I think when you're fasting, you're so notorious.
Finally, I just want to respond to Honorable Nyamai about this case in Oseko and Ouma. Like I said, I'm not the managing partner. I don't know about this case, because unless I go and I ask what is going on. But I'm not really in the daily management of the work. I just sit there when I was taking my break, so I've not been able to appraise myself with the file. But if there's need be, we can clarify. So I'm not aware of that. Then there's this allegation that I have a lot of land in Malindi. The truth is, I don't have a lot of land in Malindi. If you check the registries, there is no land which is registered in my name in Malindi. But I bought land in Malindi, which was 30 acres, which I bought from a settlement scheme, but I have not even finished paying it. I just pay it slowly, and I have not completed. When I complete, then I will say that I have land in Malindi. Other than that, I do not have any other land in Malindi. Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, as we conclude.
Thank you, Chair. I must say that Dr. Julie You don't look like your age. You're way younger than your age. I must say that. You must have done a good job on yourself, so keep it up. Since the promulgation of the Constitution, we have had 2 NLC commissions. You are going to be the 3rd one, if approved. When we go out in the public, the feeling is NLC are not up to the task. They're still not felt, especially in the areas where historical injustices of lands have been done. If approved, what can you tell Kenyans who are watching us today that indeed something will be done, that the other 2 commissions have not done it? Thank you.
May you respond to that?
I do appreciate your concern, and that is a concern which even me, being outside there, I have had. Even me, I didn't know much about the NLC. So me, at my level, I didn't know a lot about it. I know it's there and it's doing this work, but I really didn't know much about it. So I'm equally a victim. Now that I'm going to be, if you allow me to be in there, I think it's a question of visibility. The commission requires to be very visible. I don't know I can't say I've read much about it, or the little I have read in this short time, but we'll definitely inquire. But I think one of the issues that need to be addressed is issue of engagement with the public. Sensitization. When I was in Malindi, nobody had seen a magistrate in Marafa. Somehow they saw us. It was very uncomplicated, very, very, just that small gesture. And you get the whole county knowing that there is a court. So when I moved my court to a court, I opened a court in Marafa, they now got to know. So some of those, some solutions may just be about visibility, about engagement with the public. And also now, with the lifting of the limit of hearing historical injustices, I am very certain that the commission, in its first business, will allow the members to now say the law has been changed. We can now hear historical land injustices. And just like I was saying, we will disseminate the information. If we have proceedings, we will put them ICT. Anybody can be able to see the cases as they go along, as the way they're doing in the judiciary. So for me, from that small beginning, that is the solution I think I can give now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll just ask a few questions. Very general. Have you ever been committed or charged in a court of law in Kenya?
No. No? Not at all.
It's you convicts.
Pardon?
But you've been convicting other people.
Yeah, I've convicted people, but I've not been convicted.
Do you have a dual citizenship?
No, I'm not.
What is your financial net worth?
My financial net worth, I will maybe explain a bit. It comprises of the net worth of my family, from my husband who's an advocate, so that net estate, and also what is mine. It comes to 300 million shillings.
300. What are your current or unexpected source of income?
Social income, I get from also as a family, because the house is not mine. I get the benefits with my children as beneficiaries of the estate. It's a rental income for a house in Karen, and also my pension money. Yeah.
So I think we've come to the end of the session. I want to thank you for that passionate presentation and engagement we have had with the members of the committee. And we really want to wish you the very best. We'll do the report. We'll take it to the House for approval, for the final approval or rejection. But we are praying that, looking at the passion that you've exhibited, we want to believe that maybe it'll go through. So your very final remarks, 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, I really wish to thank you so much for this session. I'm satisfied. I'm happy that I've been able to try to convince you that I need to be given this noble opportunity to serve the Kenyan public. I also want to thank you very much for sitting this long hour since morning, and I know you're still going to sit, for just taking that time to do this honorable duty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We had your papers, I think. Have you collected? Yeah. Okay, thank you, and we wish you the very best. So we have two to go. The next nominee